let us see, animal tissue. That in acellular animals, all the functions like digestion, respiration, excretion, and reproduction are performed by a single cell. If you take amoeba or euglena or paramecium, any of the animal, that in all these animals will find a single cell is itself performing the digestion, respiration, excretion, all physiological activities are performed by a single cell itself. In the complex body of multicellular animal, the same basic functions are carried out by different group of cells in a well-organized manner. That in metazoans, a group of cells and cell products that arise from the same region of the embryo, which also perform a specific function, constitute a tissue. That we call that as a tissue. Okay, so that means we are giving some properties to the tissue. So to say a group of cells as a tissue, what are the properties required for that? That should arise from the same region of the embryo. During embryonic development, that should arise from the same region of the embryo, and which also they need to perform a specific function. They need to perform a specific function. Okay, so the group of cells and cell products that arise from the same region of the embryo, which also perform a specific function, we say that as tissue. The study of tissues is known as histology or microanatomy. Okay, so that origin should be same and function should be same. If the origin and function, if they are same, what do you say that as? That is called as a group of cells with their origin same and function same. We say tissue, and the study of tissues is called histology or microanatomy. Histology or microanatomy. Then the tissues are made up of cells and extracellular matrix. That we say group of cells is called as tissue. Then if the substance present inside the cell, that we say that whatever cytoplasm or something else, cytoplasm, that whatever present in the cell, we call it as intracellular substance. Okay, so here talking about extracellular matrix. What is extracellular matrix? The substance which is present between the cells is termed as extracellular matrix. The very important thing to remember, which will come all over the lesson. So that's why I'm showing the visual of extracellular matrix, the substance which
Daddy,
is
phone just
present between the cells. The substance which is present between the cells is called extracellular matrix. Is said to be as extracellular matrix. This extracellular matrix varies in composition and quantity from one type of tissues to the other. The
Dada.
composition and quantity to the one type of tissue to the other. So the based on the composition and quantity from one type of that of the tissues, we will have the four types of tissues. Their composition is different based on their composition, that we can say, and based on their function, we're going to classify that particular tissues as four types of tissues: epithelial tissue, connective tissue, and muscular tissue, nervous tissue. Epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue, and nervous tissue. The four types of tissues, which we are going to learn them in detail. The complete explanation of these four types of tissues, which we are going to do here. Four types of tissues: epithelial, connective, muscular, and nervous tissue. These tissues differ from each other in the types and functions of their cells, composition, that means extracellular and intracellular matrix composition, and relative amount of the intercellular matrix. See here, we got two words here: extracellular matrix. Okay, then that one more word we use, that is intercellular matrix. Both are same. Intercellular matrix. That means if you take, these are the cells. group of cells, if we say, then if the content, any substance present inside the cell, we may pronounce it as intracellular, inside the cell. We can say intracellular, but here it is intercellular. That means present between the cells. We may call it as extracellular or intercellular. Okay, so when word comes, you don't no need to get confusion here. That extracellular is nothing but intercellular. Okay, then let's start the topic. Epithelial tissue. We are going to move with the epithelial tissue. Okay, so epithelial tissue. Epithelium forms the outer covering. Epithelium is going to form the outer covering of the body and the lining of internal organs. It covers the body and it also lines the internal organ. Cells of an epithelium are held together by an intercellular cementing substance. That means if you see the epithelial cells, they'll be like this. One cell connected to the another cell. These are the cells here. The cells are going to connect each other. The epithelial tissue cells are going to be closely connect each other. So what we are saying that cells of epithelium are held together by an intercellular cementing substance, a little bit cementing substance I'm drawing between the cells. It's just like one brick is connected to the another brick with the help of the small amount of cement that we are talking about. About that cement we are talking, the cementing substance. Then, the specialized junctions provide both structural and functional links between the individual cells of an epithelium. Specialized junctions provide both structural and functional links between the individual cells of an epithelium. They show different types of junctions so as to serve the specific needs of that tissue. Okay, so let's see here. When we see, we can understand that the cells here, what exactly we are talking about. We are talking about the cell junctions. Here, this is the epithelial tissue. Then any epithelial tissue lies on basement membrane. That's why I'm drawing basement membrane also. So we are talking about this area. Just focus here. We are talking about this area. That means one cell connected with the another cell. One cell is connected with the another cell is called junction. Okay, so that is the junction. So how that connection can be seen over? How that connection is seen over? That we are going to learn in the form of three: tight junction, desmosomes, and gap junctions. So let us see the one after another here. That first of all, tight junction need to correlate with the diagram given here. Tight junction. What is the meaning of tight junction? That means one cell connected to the another cell is very tightly and closely that we are talking. So I'll show with the red mark here which area they are showing in microscope that we need to know. So this area in microscope, or else let us use that another pattern here. Let me draw the two cells. That one cell I'll draw with the red color and one cell I'll go with the blue color. Okay, so we need to understand exactly what it is. What it is. This circle I made over that circle in diagram. This is the diagram between the two walls of the two different cells. Okay, so this is a red one and this is the blue one. That you people need to understand. Okay, once you understand, we can go the theory. That first of all. So then, why this much gap you are shown? That means there is no gap actually. They are very closely adhere each other. They are very closely attached each other. But to show that for you, I just drawn a little gap here. This circle is shown in the diagram. Okay. Now let's try to understand. These junction between the epithelial cell prevent the leakage of body fluids. that they are going to prevent, they are closely adhere each other, they are closely attached each other. That's why they are going to prevent the leakage of body fluid. That let's take an example. For example, they prevent leakage of water into the surrounding cells in our sweat gland, making our skin tight. The plasma membranes of the adjacent cells are tightly pressed against each other and bound together by specific proteins. So let me show the proteins here. Whatever you are looking towards here as dots, they're all nothing but proteins. Let us see this in case of original. That means the sweat gland. This is the sweat gland. Let us imagine this is the sweat gland. In the sweat gland, what will be seen over? Sweat. That means water. So that the cells of the sweat gland, how they need to connect one each other, that should be with connective, that they need to connect each other with the help of tight junctions or not. One cell connection to the another cell should be tight. So that we are talking about these junctions, these junctions. That the junction should be very tight. That's what we are saying. For example, they prevent the leakage of water into the surrounding cell, our sweat glands, which make the skin watertight. This I made it watertight here, that they are closely attached to each other. All these are the tight junction. With the green lines I'm showing, all they are the tight junctions. So the plasma membranes of the adjacent cell, this is the plasma membrane. The cell cover itself called plasma membrane. The plasma membrane of the adjacent cells are tightly pressed against each other. They get tightly pressed against each other like this. One cell is connected to the another cell tightly, that are bound together by a specific protein. So if you see that walls here, that they have the connected with the specific protein. Okay, so that's about the tight junction. That tight junction, nature, nature. You need to understand that the junction between the epithelial cell prevent leakage of body fluids. Then how is it possible? That means tightly pressed against each other is the characteristic feature of them. Function, what is the function? That prevent leakage. That you need to remember these two things in case of tight junction. Now, let's move with the desmosome. Let's talk about the desmosome, another type of connection between the cells. Epithelial and muscle cells are provided with desmosome. Okay, so epithelial and muscle cells are provided with desmosome. They are also called anchoring or adhesion junction. This is that area. Anchoring or adhesion junction, which acts as rivets, binding the cells together into strong sheaths. That intermediate filaments made of the protein keratin anchor or support the desmosomes in the cytoplasm. Let us try to understand. This is one cell, and I use another color. This is another cell. Okay. So what they are saying, epithelial cells provided with desmosome, which acts as rivet. Rivet. What is rivet? Rivet means that holding the two areas like this, like this. This is the area. Just see this in microscope. It's just like a screw, we can say. You imagine here. The two sheets are bind each other by screws. So rivets binding the cells together into strong sheets. So that strong sheets and rivets is made up of intermediate filaments made the protein keratin anchor or support the desmosomes in the cytoplasm. See this. These are all that particular desmosomes. Okay, so what these are? They are made up of intermediate filaments which are made up of keratin protein. That's they are saying. Okay, so that's it. That is the second one. Desmosomes are adhesion junctions. We can see desmosomes are adhesion junction. You need to imagine this is one cell and this is the another cell. This is the wall present between the two cells. Okay, so that wall is connected by rivets that which are made a protein called keratin, which are made up of a protein called keratin. Now let's come with the third one, gap junctions. Gap junctions are communicating junctions. Gap junctions are communicating junctions. They provide continuous cytoplasmic channels between the adjacent cells. Let's take an example that before we enter that we can understand. This is a cardiac muscle fiber. That means the muscle fibers which are present in the heart. So what happens here that between one cardiac muscle fiber to the another cardiac muscle fiber, there is a continuous supply of calcium ions which is required. So why it is required when we go to the human physiology we learn, but at least you need to understand between the cardiac muscle fiber there is a continuous flow of calcium ion is required for the transfer of that impulse. Okay, no need to use the bigger words. Only thing I am saying that there is a requirement of movement of ion. So what junction is better? We learned one junction which is closely adhered. That is better for prevent the leakage, which are very closely each other together. So that prevents the leakage. But now what I want here, I want passage. Okay, so that passage require gap. That we say gap junction. Okay, so various types of ions. That's what I said about the calcium ion. Sugar molecule, amino acid can pass from one cell to the adjacent cell, one cell to an adjacent cell through this gap junction. They occur in many types of tissues, including cardiac muscle. I took cardiac muscle itself as an example here. Cardiac muscle, where they allow the rapid conduction of the impulses. Conduction of impulse is possible by the transfer of calcium ions. Impulse means the heartbeat, just understand as a heartbeat. Impulse or depolarization, nothing but that in the context of heart, we say that the heartbeat, we can understand. Okay, the details will go what is polarization, what is repolarization, all the issues in human physiology. Okay, so finally, there are three types of junction. Let us see the gap junction once in the diagram. Gap junction or communicating junction, we can say. This is a gap junction. This is the gap junction. Actually, the diagram is not clear here. So that if you see this area, this circle, I'm showing that you can see a flower-like arrangement. Okay, then a tube, then another flower-like arrangement. Interesting to see here. One cardiac muscle fiber to the another cardiac muscle fiber. Okay, three-dimensional diagram will make us to understand much better, but no matter. I am trying here. Okay, so this is the passage. We say this passage as intercalated disc in case of cardiac muscle fiber. When we go to the cardiac muscle tissue, you can understand. That means you need to imagine here in your house itself, there are two rooms. In one room to the another room, there is a wall actually, no window even, only wall is present. You imagine here that we made a passage between the two rooms. Okay, so the calcium ions will pass like this. A pipe run through the walls and a flower-like openings we'll find here. So this is called a gap junction. We say that as gap junction. Gap junction for passage of ions. Gap junction for the passage of ion. Tight junction for to prevent the leakage. Very closely tied each other. They prevent the leakage of liquids, whatever, sweat glands, sebaceous glands, wherever the glands are present. They require very tightly packed cells, each other. Okay. So that what is a tight junctions to prevent the leakage. Adhesion, just attachment of the two cells. There is no much speciality here. Intermediate filaments are going to attach the cells. Okay, so here in the gap junctions, I said over. So one to the another, there is a channel to transfer the ion. Here, just a tight hold, tight pack we can see in case of tight junction. This is the story of tight junction, gap junction, adhesion junction. Tight junction, gap junction, adhesion junction. Let me make a formality here before I conclude this. Let me read the three given here, tight junction. These junctions between the epithelial cells prevent leakages of body fluid. For example, they prevent the leakage of water into the surrounding cells in our sweat glands, making our skin watertight. The plasma membranes of the adjacent cells are tightly pressed against each other and are bound together by specific proteins. Next, Desmosomes. Epithelial and muscle cells are provided with desmosomes that anchoring or adhesion junctions, we can say, which act as rivets, binding the cells together into strong sheets. Intermediate filaments made of the protein keratin anchor or support the desmosomes in the cytoplasm. That's the story of desmosomes. Thereafter, we'll go with the story of gap junction. Gap junctions, which are even called communicating junction, they provide they provide the cytoplasmic channels between the adjacent cells. They provide continuous cytoplasmic channels between the adjacent cells, comparable to the plasmadesmata between the adjacent plant cells. You may have seen over plasmadesmata that are in the plant cells. That kind of things these are. Various types of ions, sugar molecules, amino acid can pass from a cell to an adjacent cell through gap junction. They occur in many types of tissues, including cardiac muscles, which they are allow rapid conduction of impulses or depolarization. Rapid conduction of impulses or depolarization. This is about the gap junction. These are all about the gap junction. Okay. So then let me continue here. Let me continue that about the epithelial tissues. We need to learn the epithelial tissues. We just talk about the epithelial tissue, but till the time we are seeing three types of junctions: tight junction, desmosomes, tight junction, desmosomes, and gap junction. So what next? What next? That is, I'm going to learn about the complete information and examples of epithelial tissue that we need to pay the effort.